Well, hello you guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooklyn, and if you clicked on this video, you obviously saw the title and the thumbnail for this, and you know that I am sharing my testimony with you guys today. And to be completely honest with you, if you would have told me like a year ago that I was going to be like sharing my testimony, like it's always been something that really intimidates me because like you hear all these stories of like these amazing, like complete 180 transformations, and there's this person who maybe they were like in drugs or something, and then they come and they have a super emotional moment, and then all of a sudden like everything is just different about them. And I think those are so cool. Like I love hearing stories about that. And I think that is definitely the case for some people. But for me, that just, I guess, made me feel like I didn't have a testimony to share because I didn't have an emotional experience like that. And I didn't have, like, there's definitely been transformations in my life because of the Lord, and He's, like, made changes in my heart because of it. But it was never like this, I never, I guess, could point back to this one specific time where it was like, okay, I completely rejected God and then I accept Him, and then now everything is completely different from this one moment on. And yeah, I mean, I grew up in a Christian home, so like from a very young age, honestly, since before, as long as I can remember, I was taught the gospel. I memorized Bible verses. I went to Sunday school. I went to Awana. I did school, which we were homeschooled, and we did like an online like program where like, like you're presented with the gospel all the time. And I'm so thankful for that. I'm very thankful that I was raised in a Christian home where I was protected from a lot of things and just honestly taught the truth from a very young age. I guess what I'm trying to say is like, basically, I don't ever remember a time where I was like rejecting God, where I was like, no, I don't want to be a Christian, or I think I'm good enough on my own. Or I would have at least never said that. And I remember having all these moments probably in like kindergarten, first grade, where I would like say the prayer and like read this prayer or something, and I'd be like, okay, surely that, and then I would also struggle with just doubting my salvation because I was like, oh no, what if that wasn't the right prayer? Or what if, I don't know, what if I wasn't genuine enough? Or what if, I don't know, I just went through all these things of just doubt. And I remember being really afraid of that too, because I was like, well, if I'm doubting it, then that probably means that it was not genuine, it wasn't true. And yeah, I feel like as I got older and as I started to understand more things about God and more things about salvation, that I really accepted them as truth. And, I believe God existed. I believe that He came to die for my sins. I believed in the resurrection, all the things. But it was all intellectual, like head knowledge. Like it was never, I wouldn't say I had like a true relationship with God until I was probably 14, 15. And up until that time, I would go through phases where I was like trying to be good enough or trying to be a good Christian, trying to, I guess, fulfill the expectations on myself. I guess in a way, like my salvation was, I was taking that upon myself, and I thought that it was kind of my responsibility. Like I need to read my Bible every day. I need to pray. I need to do this, this, and that. And then I'll be good enough for God, or then my salvation will be, that's what my salvation is dependent upon. And I just didn't realize that it's actually nothing that I can do. Like it's not anything, it's not at all based on what I can do. It's all based on Him. Like it's already done. And I just really struggled with that for a while, because I felt like, if I'm a true Christian, and if I really had that experience and, am actually saved, then all of these things are just going to come so naturally for me. And I really struggled to read my Bible for a long time because like I understood it, but it never was like transforming my heart. And I honestly just didn't have a relationship with God. And I didn't even know exactly what that meant. I had heard all these sermons on it, and I'd heard people talk about it, and I knew that like that was a thing. I knew that God wanted to have a relationship with people. I just didn't know what that looked like. And to be honest, I think I was afraid of that. I was afraid that being completely sold out for the Lord and having a relationship with God meant that it was going to be boring, which nothing could be farther from the truth. But I kind of just had this image that it was not going to be fulfilling, and it was not going to be, I guess, fun, which, for lack of a better word, just as I say it sounds so superficial. But I just feel like I believed that lie for so long, that being a Christian and being in a relationship with God meant that I was going to miss out on all these things and that I would have to surrender, which is true. I also had this image of surrender, that that if I let it go, God was going to take it away from me and take me somewhere where I didn't want to go. And so I really just like wrestled with that for a while. And I believed I was a Christian, but I also struggled with moments of doubt. Like, oh no, what if I'm not? And I feel like there was this turning point for me, I think it was when I was 13 or 14, where, I mean, there were several things in my life that kind of led to this, where I felt like God had to take away certain things from me to make me realize that that was not going to fulfill my desire for him. Because we are all, like, as humans, we all have this hole for God in our hearts that we try to fill with other things. And we could try to fill it with so many different things to try to satisfy us, but it's never going to satisfy unless we have the Lord. And so I think, yeah, he just had to take away certain things in my life to make me realize, okay, he's actually going to fulfill me, and he is the only true satisfaction. And so there was this time where I think it was probably about like 6 months or a year, where it was just honestly one of the best spiritual seasons in my life, because I just totally was focusing on him. And then all of a sudden, like, all this stuff just clicked. Like, I was realizing what it's actually like to have a true relationship with the Lord, and not just like, okay, he's my savior, okay, he died for me, and all of these things. It was like, no, he's actually my friend, and he actually wants to be in a relationship with me personally, and that is like personal. And it was just so amazing, because then all of these things, I would even like read the Bible, and it was exciting to me, because it's just like all of a sudden I have a new lens. Like, it clicked more personally, where it wasn't just on a level of like, okay, he died for the world and all of us collectively his people. It was like, no, he died for me, and he came to save me. Like, yes, he came to save everyone else too, but it's also a personal thing. I just felt like for so long I was living this almost Pharisee life of looking good and looking put together and doing all the right things. I could like recite so many verses. I could walk you through the plan of salvation and how you can be saved and all this stuff, but I never truly had that relationship with him that we all desire to have. And so yeah, it's just been such a beautiful thing, even just being transformed in that, and just like learning and growing in that, because having a relationship with God is just like the most fulfilling thing. Like, yes, he saved us, and yes, like he saved us from death, and that is like so amazing. Like, so thankful for that. But he didn't just stop there. Like, he also wants to be our friend, and he wants to walk us through all the stages of our lives, and he has a plan for our lives. But then for a while I've just really struggled with being afraid to like share my testimony and to speak about my faith, because it's always been very intimidating to me. Even since then, I struggle to even like come up with words. I feel like I'm really bad at the words. So crazy that I'm even talking about this on YouTube, but you know what? The Lord is sufficient in our weakness, and that is something that I've had to learn too, that it's not about me. And no longer am I just here to fulfill my desires, to make myself happy, and to build my own kingdom. Now, like, my life actually has purpose, and as Christians, we are building his kingdom. Like, we have a purpose so much greater than just being here for ourselves. And that's truly, I think, what transforms us into giving us like the hope. We're living for something so much bigger than us. And yeah, I feel like that's also one of just the main transformations that happened just over time, was that I was realizing that a self-seeking life and a life trying to build my own kingdom, and I guess like living for myself, is not going to satisfy. And I think we all have to come to that point of like, yes, we could be a Christian, yes, we could be following the Lord, but are we truly living for him? Like, does all of our intentions, our desires, and yeah, does that reflect that? Is that truly our deepest desires, to build his kingdom? Anyways, I hope this video encouraged you guys in some way, or maybe you can relate with my story, maybe you can't. And I just think it's so beautiful how God has a different story for each person. Like, each person's story is so unique to them. And of course you can relate in different ways, whether that be like upbringing or whatever. But God honestly has us all on such a unique path, and I think it's so beautiful that he weaves it, like how he weaves all of our stories together. And it's just so amazing to like even hear other people's stories. I love hearing testimony videos. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys back next Monday for another video.